Joining us now is best-selling author and gut health expert, Dr. David Perlmutter. Dr. Perlmutter, thank you for being with us.
Delighted to be back. Thank you for having me.
Tell us, how important is a strong immune system right now for surviving the virus?
Well, you know, it's been said the best defense is a good offense. We don't really have anything in the offense department yet, so we've got to strengthen our defense. And that means our immune system. That's our best line of defense. And how do we do that? We get a good night's sleep. We continue our exercise programs. We get outside as best we can. And, you know, there's a lot of research going on right now that talks about what's called caloric restriction. In other words, cutting back on the amount of food that we are eating, because that tends to amplify immune function. So, you know, in these times when people are looking at how much food they've stored in their homes to last whatever it may be, the month or two, it actually has a twofold approach there, strengthening your immune system and, you know, allowing you to let your food reserves last a bit longer.
Yeah, it's interesting you're saying a month or two, because the guidance so far has been 2 weeks. But I'm looking at some other reports saying, well, we have to extend these time periods. Why are you saying a month or two?
Well, I mean, if you listen to what the president has been saying, he's saying that this thing is not going to be wrapped up until August, based on the intelligence that he's getting. And I think most of the reports globally indicate that we've got a couple more months to go while we're ramping up. Predictions in the United States indicate that the peak will happen somewhere around June the 20th, but that is entirely variable, really mostly based upon our behavior, what we choose to do. Turns out that the biggest thing that can affect the time course of this virus, and answer your question, is really what we do in terms of our behavior. And I know that was mentioned a moment ago about this social distancing versus social isolation. We definitely do not want to isolate ourselves in terms of contact with people, but the physical contact obviously is something that needs to stop.
Well, tell us some things that people can do in their home while they're sheltered in place. I know all the gyms are closed, so how can we keep exercising? How can we keep a health priority during this time?
Well, let me not comment on the home exercise. Everybody, I think, you know, has their own routine. I would say that it's important to distance yourself from the media that's going on right now. I mean, it's good to check in a couple of times a day, but we don't want to fan the flames of fear. Fear locks us into the part of the brain, something you and I talked about a couple months ago, that actually is destructive in terms of immune function. So back off on watching the news feed all day long. I've been recommending for people to start reading fiction, read some poetry, buy a jigsaw puzzle, connect with the people that you're sheltered in with, and really get back to the basics. I think this is really important. I think there are some really important nutritional considerations as well, much as we talked about the other day on the 700 Club, and that is really focus on a good diet at this point, less sugar, less refined carbs. And I personally believe that there's good merit in adding a good vitamin D supplement as well as some zinc to your daily regimen.
All right. Is there anything we should do especially to make sure our homes are safe as we shelter? Should we look at sterilizing our homes?
Well, I think that you really should consider who's coming into your home and what is coming into your home. A lot of people are ordering online, getting a lot of packages, and I think it's, you know, when we now recognize in the research coming from Yale that cardboard, for example, can be keep the virus alive for 48 hours and plastic 72 hours, we need to think twice about greeting the delivery person and bringing that package right into the home. I'm doing a live podcast on Facebook, David Perlmutter, MD, every day at 5 p.m. Eastern, and going through all of these recommendations and updating what people should be doing. And I think, you know, there are a lot of holes in the system that need to be thought about in terms of vectors whereby coronavirus can make its way into your home.
Lori Johnson told me that you're even concerned about plastic wrapping on home deliveries, that the virus can last longer on that than the cardboard. So what are you doing for home delivery? Are you leaving it outside for a period of time when it does come into the home? Are you sterilizing?
Exactly what you're doing. When packages arrive, I spray them with a solution. It happens to be a brand name, Lysol, and I leave them outside unless it's something perishable. And if it is, I bring it in and then leave it in the garage for a couple of days. You know, is that germophobic? Absolutely, because we need to be germophobic at this point. We need to think about all of the vectors whereby this can come into our homes. The biggest vector are the people who might want to come to your home and shelter in place. You know, the realistic part of this consideration is that people need to be watched for about 14 days till you determine that they haven't been exposed. That takes care of about 96% of people. As you mentioned earlier in the setup, these are different times, and we are going through things for which we have no experience, that we've never had to deal with before. But take a deep breath. There are some great recommendations out there. You guys have been making terrific recommendations. Lori Johnson is doing an amazing job in disseminating pragmatic information, and you know, we'll get through it, but we have to prepare.
Amen. We'll get through it. Dr. David Perlmutter, thanks for joining us.